Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by and seeing what I'm up to. I am very sorry about my video is down at the moment. I will be fixing that later. But until then, have a little, I don't know, black light sort of look. Let's take a listen to the Update Heals Stimulus Check package.
Multiple new stimulus updates out. Let's talk stimulus. Hey everyone, meet Kevin here. Many of you really enjoyed the flowchart I created yesterday to help you visualize what's going on with stimulus negotiations, the HEALS Act, and what to expect. Especially with how much of a disaster Congress is right now, it's very hard to keep all of the puzzle pieces together. It really makes you feel like you gotta get life insurance, which you can do in the link down below in as little as 5 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up an updated version of that flowchart again, but first, a few important updates. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and President Trump briefly stopped to speak with reporters just minutes ago. Donald Trump lamented that Congress was still too far apart on the next stimulus package, and Trump has his own priorities right now. Just so you know, when we're talking about Congress still being so far apart, it's mostly because Democrats are pushing for a $600 unemployment boost, and Republicans are pushing for liability protections. Trump said that right now the priorities are unemployment, sort of sides with the Democrats, the eviction ban extension, and payments to people, which does potentially imply that the $1,200 stimulus checks are a priority, as they should be, but payments could also just be reiterating unemployment pay. He then said that the rest is not important. In fact, the quote from him was, "The rest of it we're so far apart on, we don't really care. We don't really care." This kind of throws shade at Mitch McConnell's demands for liability protections and other Republicans circling around, Republican priorities like liability protections and credits to businesses. I thought this was really interesting, especially since yesterday I said the president should consider taking a more authoritative leadership role and get Democrats and Republicans together faster. And doing that would actually be helpful to his election. Whether or not you want that to happen is just sort of an outside critique. Maybe they're watching. Who knows? I mean, after I posted a video 2 weeks ago saying that the Washington Redskins should be renamed the Washington Lobbyists, where, people who go to the stands can get a better seat based on how much they bribe politicians. Well, a few hours after that, Andrew Yang suggested that name on Twitter as well, amongst a few other names. So I thought that was kind of funny. Maybe they're watching us. Senator Portman, who authored the $450 back-to-work boost, said that there is room for compromise in the $200 boost. And remember, Mr. Portman is a Republican, so this is good. And that we have to resolve something this week. Now, let's hit the chart. Quick note, I'll teach you how to do these flow charts in the YouTube course too. So if you want to make money making videos from your home, your office, your bedroom, you want to share your perspective and your experiences, make sure to check out the pre-sale for that the YouTube course. Use that coupon code Larry down below. Nicknamed after the Larry in Impractical Jokers, or Larry Kudlow. Alright, let's get into the new flow chart right now. Here we go. So I've put the updated terms in yellow so it's a little bit easier to know what's going on based on yesterday, and I'm not repeating everything from yesterday. Right now, Democrats do seem potentially negotiable on the length of the unemployment boost. Remember, they originally wanted the boost to run through January 31st, with some extensions through March 31st. But it looks like they're possibly willing to go through December 31st. We'll see. Also, I added a section here on the SNAP program because this is another Democrat priority. Is when they say we want funding for food, they're referring to food stamps via the SNAP program. Take a look at this chart. It's really good. I'm not going to read all of it, but basically, if you're a family, a one-person household or a four-person household, you could get up to $194 or $646 per month. And about 39.7 million Americans qualify for this. So if you have not yet looked into this and your income is below a gross of $27.90 for a family of four or $13.54 for this is a family of one. There we go. Sorry, let's just put a little mark there. For a family of one, the limit is $13.54. Then call this number to see if you can get this sort of support. It's money that you pay taxes for, so you may as well. All right, what else do we need to add here? We've got liability protections. I did add this section. This should have really been in yellow. Basically, the liability protection revisions that Democrats are looking for would be new OSHA rules, which are worker protection rules, and consumer protection rules to avoid doctors from having immunity in case there's like a malpractice lawsuit, which is when a doctor makes a mistake or does something wrong. To me, this sounds really workable with some good verbiage. We still got the school funding. This is part of the HEALS Act, right? The green stuff here, the likely HEALS Act terms now. things that probably have bipartisan support. It's very likely all of the green things have bipartisan support because they've had bipartisan support in the past. So we've got the funding for schools. Remember, for your check, you can go to metkevin.com/check and you'll get a calculator. That's not Meet Kevin. I know that's weird. I'm sorry. I still got to figure that out, but it's Met because we watched the video together, so you met me, right? metkevin.com/check. The PPP, I added a little bit of details on the employee retention credit, how businesses can get up to $19,500. It's basically 65% of 10K for 3 quarters of pay. But that's if your revenue has declined 25%. That's in the HEALS Act. The CARES Act said your revenue had to decline 50%, but that would get changed. Some of the other things we talked about yesterday, I'm not going to reiterate now. I added the new SBA loan. This is that working capital loan that we heard some reference to. And this might get added and be a part of the HEALS Act for businesses whose income fell below 50% for the same period last year. I think they're like 1% interest loans. Some of you in the comments yesterday asked, what about mortgage forbearance? Remember, you can still get mortgage forbearance. It's still available for up to 4 months after the national emergency ends. If you need more details on this, I made a full detailed video you should watch. metkevin.com/forbearance. This is not technically part of the next bill, but I added it here as a reminder. Then we've got Trump and Mnuchin. I kind of put them in their own little bubble over here, who are supporting a potential stopgap bill, like something that fills in the gap, right? So Trump and Mnuchin are really pushing for the short-term eviction ban extension, payments to people. We're not sure if that means unemployment or stimulus checks and unemployment. Those are Trump and Mnuchin's priorities. You might also notice that I moved the post office, which we'll talk about that in just a second. Actually, let me hit the right first. I added Rob Portman's quote over here that there's compromise on the $200 per week. However, Mitch McConnell did say that the Democrats' position on unemployment is completely unhinged. Great. Down here under the not likely, I did add the post office, and I moved it to not likely due to the fact that they just secured a $10 billion relief loan with the Treasury Department, which kind of and potentially removes the need for that. In the meantime, California says it may extend the unemployment boost itself, like its own state, by $600 per week and include undocumented workers. We also have an update from the Federal Reserve coming at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time today to update us on the end of their 2-day meeting. So this should be a very highly watched and publicized press conference. Stay tuned for my review on that. If you don't get a notification, come back to the channel and check. Make sure to get your life insurance in as little as 5 minutes. It's really great. You may as well get a quote for it. Get your 2 free stocks with Webull. Deposit $100, you get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,400. It's free money. You may as well roll the dice and see what kind of stocks you get. And of course, check out the pre-sale for the YouTube course. The pricing does go up on the 31st. Thank you
for watching. Please do like, subscribe, and share. This is Silkyfeather hanging out with Meet Kevin.